right, guys, I hope you guys are fired up, man, because we know Todd Monken definitely is, man. He just went absolutely ballistic in the Ravens practice in preparation for the Steelers game that could largely determine who wins the AFC North, man. We have top takeaways interviews from Lamar Jackson, Mark Andrews. Coach Gruden goes off on why Lamar Jackson is the clear MVP and analyzes the Ravens-Steelers game, as well as a surprising injury that just popped up for the Baltimore Ravens. We got all that and more. Let's go ahead and dive into the content. At number 1, I need you guys to see this right here. All right, as you can see in this clip, Todd Monken running over to the wide receivers. He's getting very animated. He grabs it. He says, hey, give me that football, right? Takes the football, puts it in the receiver's hand, and then starts to bludgeon that football. Absolutely try to knock that thing out, rip it, man. And we don't have audio in this clip, but what I can imagine, my best imagination is he's saying something along the lines of, are you kidding me? You think the Steelers are going to hit the ball like that? You think they're just going to play patty cake with you and try to tap the ball out nicely? No, this is Steelers week, baby. Let's go. Like, rip that ball out. That's what I'm imagining in my head. He's saying something along those lines. But whenever I guess he was asked about ball security and stuff, whenever he addressed the media after practice, here's what Todd Monken had to say.
Every week, but I've been here for 3 games, so we've turned it over 8 times. We fumbled it 7 times. If that doesn't tell you that's not a priority, I don't know what is.
So I absolutely love that Todd Monken is getting animated with this thing, because the Steelers are actually tied for first in the NFL with the highest turnover margin of plus 18 turnovers. So they forced 18 more turnovers this season than they've coughed the ball up themselves, right? So absolutely absurd how good the Steelers are at forcing turnovers, and it's been a common theme among the Ravens' losses to the Steelers, where the Ravens just turn the ball over, had self-inflicted wounds, penalties. Mike Tomlin's strategy is to keep the game close, not beat themselves, let the Ravens make a mistake, and, squeeze out a win at the very end. And it's worked for them. Kyle Hamilton even just recently acknowledged that in an interview, saying, yeah, Mike Tomlin's strategy is keep the game close, try to win the game at the end. Something just feels different about this game. Like we said, this is the first time ever. Like we said yesterday in yesterday's video, if you guys didn't catch it, this is the first time ever that the Baltimore Ravens, with Lamar Jackson, are going to play the Pittsburgh Steelers at home with fans. Lamar Jackson's only ever played the Steelers once at home, and that was in the COVID year in 2020, and there was no fans in the stadium. So this is the first ever time in this Ravens-Steelers rivalry where our MVP quarterback, our star, is actually going to be playing in his home crowd in front of the fans. That's absolutely absurd to think about. But that's the way it's worked out with some of the injuries, scheduling, COVID, all that stuff that's, shook out over the last few years. Plus, there was 2 years where the Ravens had already locked up the number 1 seed in the AFC and just didn't start Lamar. So one guy that's not playing around, who's a very fiery, very serious guy, especially in big-time games like this, is Mark Andrews. And his teammate on the other side of the football, outside linebacker Kyle Van Noy, who, by the way, is knocking on the door of a 10-sack season. He talked about Mark Andrews and what kind of happened in the offseason with the car wreck, said that he got rattled, and then kind of made a statement on Mark. Man, here's what he had to say.
During training camp, there were 6 of us, including myself, that got into car accidents. It was wild, actually. Yeah. So I got one in one, and Mark got in one. Mark's was really scary. I'm grateful. He was kind of spooked after his. It was kind of scary hearing the details and all of that. It was scary. So it was good he was there, and then he was battling an injury. So a lot of people were hating on him at the beginning. Trade him. He's washed. Blah 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 blah. Now look. Now who's talking? I had to shout out Mark for his 48th touchdown. He leads the Ravens organization. He is the king of the touchdown with the Ravens. Shout out to Mark Andrews. So happy to be his teammate. I love Andrews. That's my guy, and I love his speeches because you already know what type of time Mark Andrews on. He's going to let you know what type of time it is, and it's always good to play with players like that.
So for Kyle Van Noy going to war, going to bat for his guy Mark Andrews the day before, Lamar Jackson said, bro, I remember when some of y'all were saying to trade Mark, and look at him now, right? He's already over 500 yards on the season after a slow start, but even more incredible is 8 touchdowns in 9 games. Mark Andrews has been an absolute red zone weapon, contested catch monster, able to find those little soft spots with Lamar. Even when he's covered, he finds a way to come down with the football, and he has the full trust of Lamar Jackson. Here's what Mark Andrews had to say about this Steelers-Ravens rivalry in this upcoming game.
A well-coached team. They do things the right way. They manage the game well. So for us, it's just being efficient, doing our job, and move forward with the game.
The players talked about there being kind of an emotional team meeting, just a little fiery. Can you take us inside that meeting a little bit?
We just know what's at stake. It's this time of year. We got to win games, and we put ourselves in a great position. And so everything looking ahead is just being motivated and locked in and ready to take on this week and take it one at a time.
So there's Mark Andrews talking about Ravens Steelers. Let's hear what his MVP quarterback, Lamar Jackson, had to say on how the Ravens have lost some of these football games. He also talks about his chemistry building up with Rashad Bateman, who just had a monstrous 2-touchdown, dominant performance against the Giants. Here's what he had to say.
Go back to the game and watch it a lot. Obviously after the game I watched it and seeing things on film I didn't like. Some things I did like. We did move the ball. We just wasn't finishing drives and penalties, turnovers, stuff like that. We got to clean up. But got to find a way to just put points on the board. From when I did watch the game, that's all.
Played against the Steelers at home in 4 years, and you also haven't played in front of a home crowd as a starting quarterback for the Ravens, because the last time was 2020, and that was when fans weren't really doing it. Just what can that difference be for you and for this team?
Just being in front of our crowd, man. Flock Nation just being in the building, knowing it's a rival game, knowing what's at stake for us. I feel like the momentum from our crowd to just give us what we need, that extra boost.
And Lamar, we've talked to you over the years about being locked in and kind of that focus. That's always how you've been, but it seems like maybe even more so this year. Has that been really a point of emphasis and a focus for you this year?
Man, just trying to stay on schedule. I'm one of the vets now, so obviously I got to lead by example. So I'm trying to do it, with play, off the field, everything. Just trying to be the leader that I can be. Best leader at that.
Lamar, last year you took a lot of shots to Rashad Bateman down the field, didn't connect on a lot of them. Obviously, that's changed a lot this year. What do you think the big reason for that change has been?
Us just trusting each other, us just trusting the play call, and just connecting with our chemistry. Because years ago, we was out in Cali and we was working, and it was right after the season. And our chemistry was there. Both of us had injuries, in the past, so our chemistry would die off some point of the season. But this year we've been healthy, and it's just been how it's been going, how it should be going. Just from going back to camp and just off-season work.
Lamar, going back to that Steelers game from this year, I think afterward you said it was annoying, all the the self-inflicted stuff, penalties, and not finishing off drives. Aside from that stuff, when you watched the film after that, what didn't you like from what you saw, just in terms of either plays or execution or whatever it was, besides just the not finishing drives?
You pretty much just called it all out. Us just self-inflicted wounds, penalties, turnovers, getting back on track. It's like second and long, third and long, first and long, stuff like that. It's just like we killing drives before they even get started, And I watched film on that, and it's like last week we did a better job at that. We wasn't first and long, second and long often. So us just being on schedule with those guys, I feel like we'll be where we need to be.
So Lamar Jackson saying he looked at the film of this Steelers game, and it's the small stuff. It's the penalties, the turnovers. If you guys remember, you look back, a few weeks ago when the Ravens played Pittsburgh, it was in Pittsburgh. I thought Lamar Jackson dropped a beautiful ball into the bucket for Justice Hill. It was probably the best throw of the day for Lamar. Didn't think Lamar had his best game, his best showing as far as his decisiveness and stuff, but definitely made some nice throws. But remember, that ball fell into the hands of Justice Hill, and then as Justice Hill's coming down, the linebacker there, I think it was Peyton Wilson, was able to strip the football and come away with what charged Lamar Jackson as an interception. I still, to this day, don't think it was an interception. It looked like Justice Hill's butt was down whenever the ball was still being transferred over to Wilson, but It went down as an interception. It was a turnover. It was a big time, momentum shift in the game there. And we know from the clips, Todd Monken, Lamar Jackson, everyone is focused on not turning the football over and just playing their best brand of patient, efficient football. I think this offense has such a high floor because Lamar Jackson actually has like the highest yards per attempt in the NFL, is pushing the ball downfield. Excellent, man. He's leading the league in so many passing stats. And we know teams got to, stack the box for Derrick Henry. There's so much to deal with this offense. But one of the ways I think like this floor can just be very high for the Ravens is just checking the ball down and taking the easy little stuff, the 5-yard hitch and just a little leak route out of the backfield from the running back. It feels like an easy automatic like 8-yard gain. I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but anytime the Ravens go play action with Derrick Henry, there's nothing open downfield, and he dumps it back off to Henry. After the linebackers drop back because they realize it's play action, it's like an easy, 8 to 15-yard gain, and, it could be even better with, Derrick Henry in open space once he gets moving downhill. But that's my point, is the Steelers, they want to avoid the Ravens having the big play. They're going to try to defend the run well. They're going to try to make sure the Ravens don't beat them over top, and they're going to make the Ravens march down the field. If Lamar Jackson can stay patient, because he likes to rip those big 30-yard posts and, 20-yard seam routes to mark over the middle and stuff like that. He wants those explosive plays. I think if we just simply take what the Steelers give us at times, man, I think we really can run the score up on the Steelers and come away with a comfortable win. I really feel that way. I don't think the Steelers team matches up with the Ravens talent-wise. The Ravens now have the #1 EPA in the entire NFL overall. That's defense has now bumped up to 13th. Offense is first. And overall, the Ravens have the highest EPA. They're loaded with talent on both sides of the football. The defense is starting to play better. I don't know if you guys have noticed how the defense has looked over like the last 5 weeks, but it's been night and day compared to earlier in the season. And the last time the Ravens went, matched up with Pittsburgh, they were able to keep Russell Wilson in check, man. He did not look very good versus our defense. So I think the Ravens can win this game very comfortably. I really do. Will it turn out that way? Remains to be seen, because these games always find a way, of just being close and physical and down to the wire. Obviously, the Steelers are going to pull out all the stops because they need to win this game. They absolutely need to win this game, and it clinches the AFC North for them. If the Ravens win, they can win their last 2 games. And if Pittsburgh drops one, specifically versus Kansas City the following week, then the Ravens walk away with the division. So this game is absolutely huge. But I want you guys to listen to what Gruden had to say on Lamar Jackson and just how potent and diverse his offense is and his thoughts in the MVP race.
Lamar Jackson had 4 incomplete passes and 5 touchdowns. They are balanced. They can slam it at you with Henry. They have an array of very good receivers and tight ends, and Justice Hill's a great receiving back. But Lamar Jackson is putting together his best body of work that I have seen. It's really incredible, his statistics based on any NFL standard that you looked at. He's got 3,580 yards passing, 34 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. I mean, the only 2 guys that I could find that threw over 30 touchdowns and less than 5 interceptions was Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers. So that's the kind of class that Lamar Jackson is throwing the ball with. And when you combine that with 743 yards rushing and 3 more touchdowns, how is he not the MVP? I mean, it's going to be a shame. Somebody's not going to win it. But Lamar has played superb football. Lamar Jackson had 4 incomplete passes and 5 touchdowns. They are balanced.
All right, guys. So at number 5, big time update here. Justice Hill was not at practice today. He was not on the injury report yesterday. Don't know exactly what's going on with Justice Hill, but he's obviously a big-time weapon. The Steelers love to run man concepts, single high and then man. That's what they like to do against Lamar Jackson. Keep a spy. They like to play physical, press, try to be the bully, right? Justice Hill, we saw him, get loose against a linebacker man coverage. He's a great receiver as a running back. So If he can't go, I definitely think it's a big blow, but don't forget, Derrick Henry can catch passes, and he can pass pro on third downs. But also, Keaton Mitchell, he was not active last week. He's a true weapon. I don't know his health status right now, how he's feeling, but Keaton Mitchell and then Rasheen Ali, he's also in the mix there. So it's not like the cupboard is bare if Justice Hill can't go, but it's definitely something to keep your eye on. The other thing here is TJ Watt was seen doing some agility work, and George Pickens also. He was listed as a did not practice in yesterday's injury report, which is kind of made a little bit deceiving because we saw clips coming out of him doing ladder work and stuff like that. Maybe they're just saying maybe because it wasn't football work, they could keep him as a did not practice. But to me, it looks like he's going to be strapping up on Saturday in a huge, big-time game. So TJ Watt, George Pickens, to me, it's looking like they're trending towards playing. I think they're going to do everything they can to get out there and play with the division on the line. Nelson Aguilar, also for the Ravens, did not practice again. He's dealing with a concussion. So on a short week, I don't know if he'll clear concussion protocol, but that opens the door for Tez Walker to get some more action, who got his first receiving touchdown last week, as well as Tylan Wallace, who's made some big plays this season and has that chemistry with Lamar that started building over training camp. So if Nelly can't go, I'm fully excited and cool just to see Tylan and Tez Walker take those extra reps, of course, with Rashad and Zay Flowers getting the majority of the starting work. All right, guys, so let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section below. We're going to have that Ravens Steelers preview for you guys here soon. So make sure you guys subscribe and notification bell on, man. Smash the like button if you got any value out of today's content. As always, I love you guys. I appreciate y'all, and we'll see you in the next video.
Ray, when he wasn't looking, he ran me over.